Hello, welcome to Modesty Real Estate. Welcome to Real Estate Gist with Modesty. You are welcome. So let's know where you are watching from, your name and your location, where you are watching from. Today we are going to be looking at something very important. So let's know your name and your location. Remember, this is a gist, so you're going to be a short talk on real estate that surely you're going to learn a lot of things from. So comment with your name and your location. You can tag people, you can share this link, you can share the video, let others join and learn. All right, so you'll be doing the person a lot of favor by sharing this video, because it will help to guide the person in his real estate choice. Because today we are going to be looking at how to identify genuine lands. We'll be looking at that all through this month, how to identify genuine lands. So we're going to teach a lot. So do well to comment, comment with your name and your location. So show us where you are watching from with your name and your location. I remain your favorite writer, Emeka Modesty Obiazikwo, the CEO of Modesty Real Estate Ltd, where we are committed to building homes and sustainable real estate investments. All right, so all we do at Modesty Real Estate is to ensure that we build homes and sustainable real estate investment. As we often say, we don't just sell lands, we sell peace of mind. That means that with us, you have no issue, you have no need to be worried about land wahala, because we do all the work for you to ensure that your land purchase is guaranteed. So from our wealth of experience and knowledge, I'm going to be sharing with you this month how to identify genuine lands. You know, land wahala is a serious matter. Growing up, I've heard different stories about lands, people killing people for lands. Even today, we witness a lot in courts and all of that. So you see, land is a serious issue. Land issue is a serious issue. It's one that you will not want to have all through your life. You won't want to have that. You won't want to experience anything that has to do with land issue. That is why you should stay tuned to this training every Wednesday this month, as we expose certain things with you that will save you from real estate loss when it comes to identifying genuine lands. All right, so as I was saying, land issue is a serious issue. Even in the Bible, you see that Ahab killed Naboth because of land. So people have been killing because of land. It's a lot of issue. So you won't want to buy a land that you enter a fight because you bought a land or because you wanted to invest in real estate. You won't want to do that. So straight to what we are teaching today. How can I identify genuine lands? How can I identify genuine lands? Knowing fully well that real estate, which has to do with lands and landed properties, is one of the surest way to multiply your wealth and resources. In fact, it's one of the surest way and one of the most secured way. You know why? Land not dey spoil. All right, your land is safe asset. It's not like a car. It's not like a car that can have an accident, a company that can be burned. Something. It's not an asset that can easily be destroyed. The only risk involved is when it comes to identifying the genuinity of the land. The genuinity of the land. So that's why it's important that you learn how to identify genuine lands. How do you identify genuine lands? How do you identify genuine lands? How do I know that land I want to buy is genuine? How do I know it's not fraudulent? How do I know I'm not going to lose my money buying that land? I have that. People ask me that question almost every time. Even last month, someone commented on one of our status in our advert and said, I have money to invest, but how am I sure that the lands are genuine? So those are the things I'm going to be addressing in this video. How do I know that my land is genuine? How do I know that a particular land is genuine? How do I know that I won't lose my money or enter a court case buying a land? How do I identify that? All right, are you ready? So I'm going to emphasize basically two major things. Then subsequently we'll look at other things. Today, how do I identify genuine lands? First of all, never buy land based on sentiment or just relationship. Remember, I said just relationship is important, but not just relationship. Never buy lands based on sentiment. Based on I love that my brother, I love that my sister, I just want to buy the land from him. Or the brother is dying, the sister is dying, he needs money, so the land is so cheap and I have the money, let me just send it. Sentiment is not enough reason to buy a property. Or emotion, sentiment, relationship is my paddy. What are the land documents? It doesn't matter. I don't care about documents. If I know him, is my paddy. And you forget that the land is going to outlive you and your paddy. Your children or the person you choose, if you choose to transfer the land to someone, either by selling it or gifting it or any means you want to transfer the ownership, you must understand that that land will definitely outlive you. So when you and your paddy are gone, what will be the evidence that the land belongs to you? So you don't buy lands based on sentiment or relationship alone. You don't. There must be other things that will be added to sentiment and relationship. I've had several cases. I've had people reach out to us in the office and said, Mr. Modesty, there's this land that my father bought from his friend, and there's no document, there's no receipt to that effect. Now my father is late. I had a scenario like that sometime last year. My father is late. People are trying to claim the land from us. We genuinely, sincerely know that the land belongs to my father, but the friend did not give him a receipt. How can we go about that? You know, in that case, it takes a lot to win that land because there is no evidence. So you see that? So evidence speaks louder than sentiment and relationship. Just sentiment. Of course, you can buy land based on sentiment, but that is not enough. You have to consider every other thing I'm going to be sharing with you this month. So how do I identify genuine lands? Don't buy land more than sentiment, based on sentiment or emotions. Don't buy land based on sentiment or emotions or relationship. I just feel this land is okay. Also, all you got to prove, your only reason for buying that property is because you feel it's okay. That's the only reason. You're really in for a big thing, right? I just love that my brother, and I just want to buy the land from him. That is the only reason why you're buying the land. You surely don't understand what real estate is all about and the risk involved. All right, so sentiment, relationship is not enough to buy a property. So what do we look out for? How do we identify genuineness? All right, the first is that the person buying from you must have what is called the right of ownership. The person you are buying from. So how to identify genuineness is that the person that is transferring that land to you must have the right of ownership, which is always proven in documents and other factors that I'm going to explain. So does the person own the property? Does the person have document to back up that this property belongs to him? Does he have the right of ownership? Because legally, you cannot transfer a property that you don't have the right to another person. If not, the transfer will be invalid, right? I've shared this scenario before, how that someone wanted to acquire a property, and of course, in our corporate service, we do CAC registration, limited business name, NGO, and all of that at Modesty Corporate Services. So he was advised to register a company as an enterprise or a business name and use the name to acquire a property. Fortunately for him, he reached out to us, and we had to warn him based on our experience in real estate that it's only a limited liability company or an NGO that can own property because it's a legal entity. An enterprise cannot own property, because if you register as an enterprise and you want to transfer that property to another person, that transfer can be declared as invalid. And if someone comes to claim that land tomorrow, you can lose the land, all because your company, your enterprise does not have the right of ownership. So before buying a property from someone, you must ensure that the person has the right of ownership. You must ensure that the property belongs to the person, not just by words of mouth, but by evidence. All right? So what document? This right of ownership, I'm going to explain it with document. Those are the two things I'm explaining today. So remember that the land title or the land document is as important as the piece of land. Because if anything happens to the document, obviously you can lose the land. Just like the scenario I shared of someone approaching us to, if we can help with our experience and legal backing to reclaim a land that belongs to his father that has no evidence or document. So that land is there, but there is no document, there is no evidence. So the person cannot transfer the land to someone else because he doesn't really have the proper right of ownership. So before buying a property from someone, you must ensure that the person owns the property. You must ensure you check the document on the property. All right? For instance, some persons sell properties that the only document it has is registered survey, which of course does not transfer title, because registered survey has its own use to map out the location and to register with the Ministry of Lands or the Survey General's office, but it doesn't transfer ownership without receipt, without a sealed and signed deed of agreement or deed of assignment. So you buy such properties without checking out all of that, you can lose that property. So you have to check, does this person own this property, and what evidence, as important as a receipt, what evidence does he have? What evidence does he have for the ownership of this property? How are we sure that the property belongs to him? All right. So does he have, what is the history? You know, in this ownership, you begin to look at his history. Where did he acquire it from? You know, sometimes I want to sell, most times I want to sell properties or buy for our clients. We go as much as third and fourth generation of trying to trace the ownership of the property. We want to do this, the history, want to know the history of the property. And in this series, I'm going to show you how to do that in subsequent Wednesdays when we come to land search and all of that. But most importantly, before buying a property, how to know a property is genuine is that the person transferring it or selling it to you must have the right of ownership, which is evidently portrayed in the document that the land has. As important as what name is on the document. In fact, we even do this in the office. You send the document. When you send the document, we now say send the national ID. Maybe NIN, voter's card. We'll compare both names, which is one means of verification. And if it doesn't tally, you have to explain yourself. We cannot sell or buy such properties. You say, something happened. The property actually belongs to my mother. You know, I've had cases like that. So I will now ask the person, are you the only child? Because if it belongs to your parents, there is a way to transfer such property. What is the proof that you can sell this property and any of your siblings will not rise up tomorrow to come and say that the property belongs to him? Because there are legal ways to find out if the person has the right to sell, whether it belongs to his parent or to him. So before buying a property, how you have to find out whether the person has the right to sell. You cannot sell a property that does not belong to you. You cannot buy a property from someone that does not belong to him either. You say, it's my brother, and my brother is in US. I usually ask that question, is your brother alive? If your brother is alive, then we can communicate, we can deal. Because you can finish selling the property tomorrow, and your brother will come and say he's not selling. So that means there has to be a legal power of attorney, or your brother will be the one that will transfer the ownership directly. So these things are very, very important, as minor as they look, but they are very salient, they are very important, that if you overlook it, you can buy a property that is not genuine. So you must ensure that the person selling the property to you has the property and has the right to sell. Not just have the property, but the right to sell. So if it belongs to his parents, is he the firstborn? What are other siblings saying on the property? If If it belongs to 2 persons or 3 persons, all must be involved in the sales and their signatories must be fully captured and their names. Alright? If a family is buying a property, of course, legally you cannot use Mr. and Mrs. Let me use my name for instance. This is a bonus for joining this real estate gist. When a spouse want to buy a property, when a family, husband and a wife, you don't say Mr. and Mrs. Emeke, Modesty or Biaziko. The document can be declared invalid in the court of law. Both names have to be spelled out. Something like Mr. Emeke Modesty and Mrs. Osebene Manganin or Biaziko, to show that they co-own the property. That means both names must appear in the agreement. As little as that, if you buy a property that doesn't have that, it can cause an issue later and the property can be declared as invalid just because of that. So you see that there are key things that you must look out for when buying a property. You must ensure the person selling to you have the right to. If it's a family, husband and a wife that is selling to you, you must ensure that both are involved in the sales. You must ensure that both are involved if they are alive in the sales. You must ensure that the name, their signature are fully captured. You know why? Because it can make the property to be ingenuine if one party is not involved. The person can come to claim ownership. It's still linked to this right of ownership. He can come to claim the ownership tomorrow and you will lose your money. So how do I now know all of this? Knowing fully well that I don't have the time, I really want to invest in real estate. Many times that is why we tell people, you don't just buy lands, you use an expert. Don't say because you are buying from your friend or your sister or your brother or your paddy, use an expert. You definitely need to use an expert. If your car have issue, you visit a mechanic, right? You have health challenge and you want to go to the hospital, you visit a doctor or a pharmacist, right? So you don't just buy lands as if you are buying crayfish or as if you are buying a car. No, even a car, you have to use a mechanic. But you say, but I have knowledge, I have been driving car for years, I don't need a mechanic. You can even temper that to some extent, but when it comes to lands, you cannot do that. Because you need an expert that will do the due diligence and ensure that the property, the person has the right to sell. Right? So one way to identify if a property is genuine is through the right of ownership or the right to sell and land documents. You have to ensure that the documents are intact. Many times when people hear land documents, what comes to their mind is C of O. That is the first thing that people hear, C of O. That the only land document. And we've done a lot of videos on land titles and land documents. You can visit our YouTube channel at Modesty Real Estate. You see a lot to learn about different land titles. I think we did a series on that, C of O, governor's consent. So you get to learn a lot on that when you visit the YouTube channel. Because land title is all about C of O. You have to know, is this the required title in this particular location? So, before buying a property, you must investigate the land title. You must ask for the land documents. You must check out the names. You must check out everything you need to check out. And you must ensure that that is confirmed before paying for any land. In addition to every other thing that we're going to share with you in subsequent Wednesdays, like checking if the land is under acquisition, doing what is called social search, and many other things we're going to share with you. But today, we're just emphasizing land documents and right of ownership. Without land documents, a land is useless. If you have a piece of land right now and you have no document to back up that land, quickly reach out to us. Let's help you get the right document. Because definitely, if you leave this earth today or you want to transfer that land to another person, that land can be lost or declared ingenuine, all because you do not have the right documents. Not because the land is really ingenuine, but because you do not have evidence. One of the greatest evidence for land ownership is documents. The document, the receipt, the deed of agreement. You know, some persons spend millions in buying a property and they cannot spend 3%, 2%, 5% in paying a realtor or preparing the right title for the document. Now, that's a lot of risk. It's a lot of risk. It's a lot of risk. So don't buy lands without the right documents. Don't buy lands without investigating whether the person can sell it or not. Don't buy lands based on sentiment, and don't buy land based on just relationships. Don't buy land. It's my wife, elder brother. He has a land to sell. Why should I be checking it out? Bam, bam. You're going to remember later in the future that land is going to outlive both you, your wife, and your wife, brother, or sister. What will your children have as evidence to show that the land belongs to you? Think about it. That means that you definitely need to pay attention to land titles. So one major way to know if a land is genuine or not is through the land documents. So can the document not be forged? What if the person forged the document? How do we know? What other things can we check out for? That's why we are not ending this gist today. In subsequent Wednesdays, we're going to be looking at other things in addition to a land document that can help you verify if a land is genuine. Hope you've learned something. If you have any question, do well to ask in the comment section. And don't forget, if there's anything you'll forget in this training today, don't forget that never buy land based on sentiment and never buy land based on just relationship. That is not enough to buy land. Make sure you have other evidence like the land title, the right of ownership, and many other things we're going to explain. And when you think of one of the best ways to grow your wealth without any effort, it is through real estate. And when you think of one of the surest way to multiply your money is through real estate. So if you are watching this video and you're not taking advantage of the new oil well, which is real estate, you're definitely losing. For instance, last week we shared how that a property that was selling for 2.5 million in Abuja is now selling for 5 million naira times 2. So those persons that took advantage of it for as low as 500,000 deposits and spread it for 1 year, today they've gotten times 2 of their investment without even paying the money. You know, that is a wonderful thing in real estate, in the real estate sector. Some of them, the only thing they deposit is just 500,000, and today, by the time they finish paying for that land, they've gotten more than times 2 of the land. So if you are thinking of how to multiply your money, there is no other way than real estate. So looking at how to get started, reach out to us at Modesty Real Estate. We are your experts. We are here to guide you from start to finish. We are here to ensure that you are not just buying land, but you are buying peace of mind. So as long as it's from us, we go the extra mile to do the search, to do all the work, and we ensure that you can sleep. And even your generation can sleep. I mean, years and years and decades after, they can be at peace because we're involved in the transaction. Because we've done all the due diligence and ensure that you have all your titles and everything that you need to have. Thank you once again for watching this Real Estate Gist with Modesty. So do well to share this video and invite your friends for next episode. See you on Wednesday by 5 p.m. Thank you for joining. Remember, never buy land based on sentiment, emotion, or relationships alone. Never buy land from someone that does not have the right to sell, and never buy land that does not have the right title documents. And never buy land without an expert. That's all I've emphasized today. And if you think of the right expert, think of Mr. Modesty and his team at Modesty Real Estate. Thank you for watching. It's a pleasure having you in this episode of Real Estate Gist with Modesty. Thank you. See you.